If the government started looking at applications for the foreign worker program by region, it could make things a little bit easier. The students had the chance to survey this crime scene and learn skills such as fingerprint identification, observation technique, and handwriting analysis. The ideal amount of snow is 18 inches throughout the whole area. This machine behind me here pumps out at least 1 foot of snow per acre per 24-hour period. In this particular situation, a horse team has been brought in to help out. These four-legged creatures will allow them to cover a lot more terrain than your quads and Argos. These cement blocks that make up the house are 10 inches thick. That not only helps make the house structurally sound, it also keeps the house cool in the summertime and warm in the winter. Judges had to choose from 24 different chilies this year. The winner this time, return champion, Lakeland Credit Union. I agree, it's pretty good. The owner of Bushman Smokehouse says he puts out at least 200 pounds of pulled pork and 60 racks of ribs every day. And that number keeps climbing.
Tim is autistic, he's also diabetic.
The first step when someone has gone missing is to get an idea exactly what you are dealing with. Normally, the group would be practicing skills like orientation and running exercises, but today, Timmy! They were thrown into a mock search.
Radio check over.
Team 2.
We start with the command post. That's where we have the search managers are. We also have radio operators and scribes there who write down everything that we do. The remainder of the teams are broken into what we call a hasty team.
The hasty teams are the searchers and split up into groups to cover different areas surrounding where the person was last seen.
So we're spreading out nice and smooth and looking up and down and around for any signs of footprints, unusual tracks that might be there.
So it is fairly quick. We'll normally cover about a 2-kilometer swath in about an hour.
You know, maybe there's rappers around.
Tamalti says that anyone can do it, but you need to be prepared for a number of scenarios, including wildlife.
Bears, moose, deer. You have to deal with all those. We do deal with not only autistics, but we have done with hypothermic casualties, just people in general, hunters out hunting during the fall. GPS fails.
If you would like to volunteer for Cold Lake Search and Rescue, you can find them on Facebook. In Cold Lake, Frazer Snowdon, Newcap News. At first glance, it may look like a hair salon, but hidden away in the back is a section only for men. The room comes complete with an old-school barber chair where men can come and get a hot shave and take a step back in time.
I make my own pre-shave oil here in my store, and then we use the old techniques from the books, from back in 1939 type books, and then with the straight blades and the old school razors and stuff like that.
Taking a look around the room, you will see anything from old bayonets, ammo boxes, and even empty shells to capture the feeling of when in time this shave was most popular.
Well, it's an experience. It's relaxing. It's a good way to end a hard week. It's a good way to take advantage of some leave. It's just a really, it's almost renewing, is what I'd call it.
The business started in 2011, and Senior says his clients have come from as far as Fort McMurray for the experience.
It's just really catching. Men really want to care about themselves because most salons are unisex. They'll take men and women, and they say they can do these. They aren't really tailoring to one specific community when you're doing that.
The shave and cut looked so good, yours truly decided to sit back and take the plunge. The Crew Barber and Stylist shop offers a lot more than your haircuts and your close shaves.
Here we have massage, registered massage level 2, RMT level 2. We have aesthetics, we have nails.
He says people feel intimidated at first, but they warm up to it.
I have a lot of people come in and they're very scared of it the first time around, but those people, they're the most scared and the most standoff about another man touching their face, or those actually become my best clients.
In Cold Lake, Frazer Snowdon, Newcap News.
Boot up!
The program was put on hold to investigate claims it was being abused. However, Bob Buckle, who owns an Original Joe's franchise in Cold Lake, says the back of their house would not run without it.
As it stands right now, I can go months, literally months, without an application for the kitchen. The last one we had was December, and we hired that girl. She's still with us today. Before that, I couldn't tell you when the other local resident application would have come in before that.
His restaurant has 8 foreign service workers in the kitchen, including 24-year-old Michael from the Philippines. He moved here 4 years ago and says opportunities in Canada are important for people from there.
We earn less than below minimum wage there a day, and in Canada it is the money to be earned here is more sufficient for us to provide a better life for our families.
Buckle says if the government started looking at applications for the foreign worker program by region, it could make things a little bit easier.
I struggle to understand why in high unemployment areas or regions, whether we're talking West Coast, East Coast, Central Canada, why are they even being allowed to participate in the temporary foreign worker program in their specific area or regions if there's not a low enough unemployment rate?
Buckle adds that in the long term, this could have a huge impact on the growth and development of the area.
I know I'm looking at expanding into a nearby community, into the Bonnyville. If I didn't have access to the labor pool for my kitchen staff, you'd have to weigh heavily as to whether or not there's the means and the ability to actually grow there.
In Cold Lake, Frazer Snowdon, Newcap News. The hatchery stocks more than 180 water bodies across Alberta every season and has to keep up with the anglers fishing them out.
It takes some of the pressure off our natural species of fish in the other lakes. So usually you either get fished out every year or we have a winter kill situation and then we have to replenish the stock every year.
This batch being loaded on the truck will add approximately 23,500 little swimmers to the population in Little Bear Lake. The selected species for their study, rainbow trout. As part of the study, the Cold Lake Fish Hatchery will drop 3 different genetic strains of rainbow trout into 4 lakes in northeastern Alberta.
Just above the eye, you can see the different colors.
These will allow them to identify each strain, as each type of fish has different characteristics. The data will tell them how they compare in growth, survival, and suitability to stock Alberta's lakes.
The Kamloops strain prey more on fish, where a lot of trout prey more on insects. The silverfish, the characteristics of them is supposedly they're very aggressive, and when hooked, they fight hard and they jump. So anglers really like that strain.
Alberta Environmental Sustainable Resource Development will conduct surveys with anglers over the next few years. After beginning their life at the hatchery, the fish can jump for joy in their new home at Little Bear Lake. In Cold Lake, Frazer Snowdon, Newcap News.